Welcome home.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Busy Money Cast, the podcast for entrepreneurs. We're already on episode 8. We got 3 more episodes, including tonight, and that's going to conclude season 1. So I want to shout out everybody who's already tuned in, who's ready to go for the show, and thank you to everybody who's about to sign up and tune into the show. So as always, we're going to start with the rules. All right. When you join the live, just be careful of what you type. Be careful of what you say. You know, everybody wants to enjoy the conversation. We want to make sure you don't get blocked or get us kicked off alive. Just be mindful of your background. And the third thing, have fun. Basically, comment and let's have a good show. For those of y'all who don't follow us on social media, big for us. Every time we get an accomplishment, if you don't know what this whiteboard is, every time we have an achievement, a benchmark that we hit, it goes up on the board. The bigger the accomplishment, the bigger, the darker the ink, the more it is. So we broke 500 subs. To me, that's huge. When we started this show just a few weeks ago, we were only at like 400. This channel has existed for 7 years, but I never really used it. Right? We never really used it for anything outside of real estate. This show and putting things together, we got almost 100 subs in a few weeks. So we're going to keep that going on the race to 1,000 is our next benchmark. So thank everyone out there for subscribing and thank y'all for tuning in. So I'm going to go to the board and then we're going to get started. All right. And I'd also like to take a second to shout out our favorite sponsor. Season 1 sponsor, Howard's Blend. Get that plant-based protein. That's the 1 pound bag. You can go to his website. The description is in our write-up. But if you want to sample it, all you have to do is just send us a message. That's it. You know where to find us. Go on social media, send us an email, go on the website. Get yourself a free sample. That's on us. Our gift to you. And I also want to shout out Royal Stone Media. You know, thank you for the shirt. He's out there spreading education. We're going to talk about who the real natives are, but we're not going to get too far into that right now because that's not what tonight's conversation is about. But I want to shout out everybody who supported the show. So tonight we're talking about networking. I want to ask y'all, if you're on social media, if you have a Facebook page, if you have an Instagram, a TikTok, or whatnot, tonight's first question is, what's your most popular post? What's your most popular post? I know there's some casual users out there. Maybe they don't have a few followers, you know. Only their friends follow them, this, that, and the third. They're not really on there for likes. Their page is private. But either way, what's your most popular post? Let's get some comments. All right, when you got out the army. So we're going to call that like a celebration or an accomplishment. Pregnancy announcement. Okay, so another accomplishment or a big announcement. Vacation posts. Okay. So kind of winning. The kids. All right, cool. When you got married, right? So oftentimes, almost like, okay. So celebrations. All right, just asking. I just wanted to know. Got one more thing that I like to discuss about that because, like, for myself, I notice when we post, celebrations and things. I mean, I think it depends on what it is for us. But family announcements make sure pregnancies, all of those things make sense. What I also want to discuss is we're here for business, right? So my page isn't a personal page. We post business. If you have a business page, how many followers support your page? What I mean by that is if you have 500 followers, 1,000 followers, the worst thing on your page, how many likes do you get? If you were to sell a product tomorrow, how many people would support the post, would share the post, would like the post, would comment on the post? What I want to get to is what's your true engagement? How many people are actually there outside of just lurking on your page or like a bot page? While you guys are writing, I'm getting to read some of these comments. How it, yeah, that was a good post, man. You know, Max was out there. He didn't want to try the protein, man. I get it. We'll work on that. We'll work on that mix. Again, that's how it's blend plant-based protein. Okay, so less than 40. How many followers do you have? We're going to try to figure out that ratio. So for those of you who don't know, social media platforms, they don't share your information with every one of your followers, right? They send it to a percentage. Facebook, Instagram, they're about 20%. So if you have 1,000 followers, 200 people get to see your post without you trying to boost the ad. That's why sometimes you'll have so many views, but you won't have engagement, or you'll have so many people viewing your story because people want to look, and the stories are a little different. But basically, it breaks down to a percentage, and that percentage is usually 1 to 3%. On one of your major posts, you'll get 5 to 10%. And if you want to quantify that, think about somebody like LeBron James, think about Kim Kardashian, and look at their posts. You might say, well, they get 1 million likes, they get 2 million likes, but look at the percentage of likes to followers. All right, so now divide 40 into that number and look what you get. 4 into 120, you're only about 3%. 20 to 30, going to how many followers you have. So it's interesting to see that you have so many people watching your page, or doing things, and not necessarily engaging. And sometimes it's just because they don't get to see it. So tonight we're talking about networking and the benefits of networking. And tonight I have a very special guest. I've known this young lady for several years, and we actually met through networking. If you were on social media, then you would have seen the post that we had in a long, long ago when I was way younger. She still looks the same. She didn't age, but I definitely aged for sure. Those 5 years really added up. So what we want to do is we're going to talk about Chidell Watkins. She's the founder of Girlfriends Connected. She'll give you more information about Girlfriends Connected and what she does, and maybe a little bit of the story of how we met. A little side note, when I started HAHOMES, Chidell was the first person to invest in our company, and we had never met. It's a true story. She sent me cash before Cash App. That's how long ago it was. Before people who knew me were comfortable sending money out. So it's just one of those things, and I think it speaks to her character and speaks to who she is as a person. She's just setting up backstage real quick. So Chidell will be with us in a second. So I'm gonna take some more comments. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The math, come on. I like numbers. I like numbers. Oh, Damon Porter, fan base. You're gonna have to check that out. Thank you for the game. Appreciate it. All right. So now we're ready. And without further ado, we're gonna welcome Chidell Watkins.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. It feels like I just saw you.
You know, time goes by so fast. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, Chidell is just out here in Texas working on some other stuff. We won't give away all the secrets just yet. So, Chidell, why don't you tell us a little bit about Girlfriends Connected and what that initiative is?
Awesome. Thank you so. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your platform as your guest today. I feel so honored, and I really appreciate you trusting me with your audience. And Girlfriends Connected actually started out of my passion to connect myself with positive, goal driven women because I literally worked with someone who complained every single day. And through this complaining, I said, God, it has to be something else to this. So, like they said, you will know your future based on the five most people that you surround yourself or spend the most time with. And I literally just had to spend time with people who valued living every day. We met at a cafe called Mimi's Cafe. It was 8 women, about 6 young adult women. And it was so powerful just having brunch. We fed off of each other's positive energy. We set our goals for the upcoming year, and we just inspired and encouraged each other. So they said, Chidell, you got to do this again. Did it again the following year, then another year, and it just grew organically. It evolved, and it just grew to what it is today, and primarily because of networking and word of mouth.
Okay. How many years in a row did you have your Girlfriends Connected event? Counting the first one, moving on up. You had brunch, and then how many years in a row?
I would say 10. I would say 10. I literally didn't look at it as a business at that time or a networking opportunity. I just, again, just wanted to be around the positive energy. And it just grew. And I learned that I wasn't the only one. So I just did it again. They wanted me to do it every 30 days, but working a full time job, I had 4 small children at the time. I thought it was a little taxing on my day. So I tried every 6 months. I probably could have kept it that way, but annually just seemed to be the staple for Girlfriends Connected.
Okay, at its pinnacle, what was the largest event in terms of attendance?
Wow, the largest event I had was about 125 women that flew from all over the country. And I was literally pushed out of my comfort zone and had my first 3-day conference at a hotel. So I did it knee shaking, teeth chattering, as Lisa Nichols would say. And I was really scared to do it. One, not thinking that the people would come. And two, not thinking that I was big enough to even have a conference in a hotel. But it worked. It worked.
Okay. So now we kind of established, because for those who don't know you, I want them to understand the scale. I think the majority of just casual viewers
Mhm.
might not understand how hard it is to get over 100 people in the room, let alone fly across the country, book hotel room, spend thousands of dollars to come to your event. How long did it take you to plan one of those events? How long did it take you to plan that 3-day event?
That one took me, I would say, maybe 6 months from idea to fruition. And I'll add to getting not just 125 people in the room, but 125 paying people. That was mind boggling to me, but it kind of did something to my spirit and my confidence to know that, and I'll use the word which is the premise of today's show, networking, the power of what networking could do for you, to you, and with you.
All right. So you said you started out and it had nothing to do with money.
Nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Just organic. Why Girlfriends Connected? What's the thread? Why was Girlfriends Connected? Tell us more about the vision of like you said, it started out in cafe. How did
Mhm.
it grow in your head, and how did it end up becoming Girlfriends Connected?
I actually, before I knew about building teams, I literally called on my coworkers to even name the organization because when we were meeting at Mimi's Cafe, we didn't have a name. I didn't have a name of even the idea of it being an organization itself. I just knew that I wanted to continue to meet because they desired to do so. So I went to work and I said, yeah, we got to put a name on this thing. What is it? What could it be? And we threw all kind of names out there, all kind of ideas, if you would, of what this group could be called. And we literally came up with Girlfriends Connected because we are in an essence girlfriends, and we were all connecting on different levels for different reasons. And I see you smiling because what's interesting about it is as we began to grow, the men start asking, well, what about us? Can we come? And we said, nah, you really can't, because it's all about the women, and it's girlfriends as hey girl, but not girlfriends, boyfriend, girlfriends. You know what I mean?
Right. So I hear you saying something over and over, and this is something that just in casual conversation you do all the time. You say we. You're
Yes.
very selfless.
Yes.
So this show is geared towards people who are thinking about, going into their business for themselves, or not relying on one revenue stream. And you keep saying the key word, we. Would you have been able to throw that event by yourself?
To the magnitude that it has grown, I would selfishly say yes, but I would unselfishly say no. Because
Explain
as
that.
the, you want me to explain that?
Yeah, I want to, dive deep into that one.
What I mean by that is you've heard the term there's no I in team, right? So the very first event that I did was a gathering of us having brunch, and it was amazing. The second one I did, the numbers actually doubled, primarily to networking. That we'll get back to that. I kind of did it by myself, but people started helping me willingly, started asking me, well, what do you need help with? And I mean, as far as the food that we were serving, the room that we were meeting in, just, paper, supplies, anything like that. The next year grew more people were added to the I would say team. More people were added to the team then. So I would say no, because I can't do everything by myself for it to be as powerful as it is, for it to reach the masses like it does, which is not just the team itself, but also the word of mouth and delivering valuable content and delivering valuable events where people can always come, not just be inspired, not just be motivated, but be transformed.
That's why y'all have to go to them girlfriends connected events because of that energy right there. So now let me ask you one more question. The
Yes.
team grew organically.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you kind of like a little bit of a loaded question, but I'd like to get your impact, your opinion on this. So you grew.
Hmm.
I'm assuming, and if I'm wrong, you correct me with your answer. As things grew organically, my assumption is that at the onset, you were working with friends, family, people that were close to you. And as you grew, perhaps you substituted people, and then maybe you paid a professional or you reached out to somebody who done things for you specifically, whereas they might have been a better fit than your relative or your family or friend. So kind of what I'm alluding to is within your network initially, did you ever have to like fire somebody, replace somebody, somebody let you down, drop the ball? How did you navigate that within your network to make your event so successful?
That is a very good question. And that is a very accurate journey because it did start out with just me. Family members were at it, friends were at it, and then through networking of sharing the goal, the vision, the idea, the dream, I was introduced to other people, such as professionals that had expertise in certain things that I had known nothing about or I didn't know anything about, which we'll take the 3-day conference at the hotel, for example. Now, rest her soul, my friend April was introduced to me through a high school friend. Keyword introduced, networking. And she was a powerhouse. But the venue that I was using, I physically grew out of that. And people said, this is too small. You need to go bigger. You need to grow bigger. So, again, because of the magnitude of the growth that they saw, the power of just being in the room, they wanted to help. and everyone had something to bring to the table, which was amazing to me because then I was able to offer more because there was more to give, not just coming from myself. And when I
Okay.
there we are,
No problem.
stepping out of my comfort zone, being able to put people in place was a phenomenal thing, but it also let me know that I was able to do it when I didn't think I could. And then there were some people that fell off along the way, which kind of hurt me. It really hurt me, but it let me know that everybody can't go. And some of the comments that I received on the 3 day conference was mind boggling, such as, well, did it have to be 3 days? But you attended all 3 days. So I'm a little confused. And that was the first year I'd had vendors. I mean, I literally stepped out of my comfort zone. And even with the vendors, all the negativity that was said was from people that fully participated. So I was a little confused. And then they came back.
Mm.
Mm,
There's a lot there.
there's a lot.
All right. There's a lot there. So that's why I sometimes, like, when we put these shows together and we get these ideas and we try to put this content out there, sometimes the conversation is so far above people's experience where they are right now. So right now, there's somebody watching the show, or in a few weeks or a few months, somebody's going to be watching the show, and we'll say they're like at point A. They're at the coffee shop. They're at Mimi's Cafe, right?
Yes.
But they want to get to the 120 some odd people. They want to get to the 3 day event. They want to get to the where people pay to see them talk. Like when you dropped your book and there was a line. It was like 30 minutes to get a book signing, right?
Yes.
To how to it was a long line. To
It was.
how to grow to where people want to be around you, want to hear what you have to say year in, year out. So some of the, like, I could get some of the little gestures and see what you're saying and what you're not saying by trying to just do the right thing. So I want to ask you some simple questions. And when I ask you this next one, if y'all have questions for Chidell, this is somebody who's done events, done things across state lines. So if you have questions while she's here for free, you need to ask her whatever questions you have for her. So my question is, what was the hardest part of, we'll say, I mean, the whole journey, but what's like the hardest part of throwing networking events?
The hardest part, actually, from a mental standpoint, is just hoping the people will show up. Because you have this dream, you have this passion, you have this desire that, yeah, I'm going to connect people. I'm going to bring everybody together in one location so that we can do whatever we're going to do. But the scary thing is wondering, are they even going to come? Not even the paying part yet, because a lot of people will come to things that are free. Some people won't, but will they show up? And then when they show up, will they participate? Will they literally, will they be there, not just physically? Will they emotionally and mentally be in the room? Because what I've learned too is some people come just to scope you out. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But the hardest part is thinking that, and then sometimes it's just starting. Sometimes it's just starting. So I'll share this. The shortest amount of time that I've done an event was about, I produced an event, I think, in about 2 months, 2 to 3 months max. The longest I've taken was maybe 6 to 8. And the last event I had was for Mother's Day. It was a tribute to mothers, actually, we were celebrating. And for those of you who know who Mickey Howard is, she was actually my keynote speaker. So from idea to implementation was from February, maybe March, when I started sending out text soliciting interest. And then Mother's Day, literally, I had 50 people, was limited. I literally was supposed to have 20 people. It grew to 30. I tried to max it out, but the tickets sold out in 3 days. So when we talk about the power of networking, it's because I asked. And who do you know? And who do you know? And who do you know? And it grew like that and it literally blew me away. I know I'm using the word literally a lot because these are actually literal examples, but it literally, excuse me, blew me away because it's the power of just opening your mouth and asking, and every unasked question is going to be a no. And I know that may seem cliche or may seem simple, but it is just as simple as asking. Once you get over that fear of not accepting the no and just ask anyway, just know that each no gets you closer to the yes. So I know I veered off the question a little bit, but I think that at the time that kind of applied to what the message is for today.
Yeah, no, listen, you dropping gems. That's what we're here for. Is
Thank
is to get the gems. You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want, and
you.
and then you have an opportunity to share anything if you feel like I didn't ask or something you want to add on top of it. But before we get to that,
Yes.
because like you're saying so much stuff, and like it's you talking, so I don't know if you understand how much there is to unpack. So you talked about fear, you talk about solicitation. I have a question. So you said you had one where you did a few months and then you did one where it was several months.
Mhm.
Which one came first?
Several months.
Okay, so you went several months and then you whittled it down.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I did that because of the date that I wanted to have the event, and I was in crunch time. Ironically, I think most of us work very well under pressure. I don't encourage that because it's really stressful. And I always say procrastination is very pricey, but under that pressure, like a diamond, how's a diamond formed? In that pressure, in that heat, and it comes out shiny. And I don't recommend doing that all the time, but it just happened that way because I was so focused. There's another word. I was so focused on just getting it done, not just for me, but for the people. It literally had to be done.
Okay. Do you have anything that you want to add? Anything you feel like I missed? Because for me, honestly, I'm not an expert in networking. That's not something I feel like I'm really great at. I try to work with people who are good at that to try to grow, what it is that we're doing.
You know what I would say, Hussein, and I hope you guys are not distracted by the glare of my glasses, but we'll just say shine on, baby, shine on. However, what I would say with regards to networking, even the way you and I met, I didn't know you. We had a mutual friend, and our mutual friend shared with me what your desire was. The way that I've been groomed throughout my life with my family is we help people. Most times it's who we know, but we help people. And the way it was presented to me, it wasn't a lot of fluff. It was, I have this friend and this is what he's doing. Are you interested in investing? And I gave it a little bit of a thought and I said, why not? What do I have to lose? And I was able to determine if what I was contributing was losable, if that's a word, because it's like lending money to people. Never lend money to people that you cannot afford to lose, because 9 times out of 10, you're not getting it back. So if you can't afford to lose that $20, don't loan it out. So for the power of networking and me saying yes, it created this however long, however many years that we've been, friends and ultimately business associates now, because I know your journey, you know mine. I believed in you. I still believe in you. You believed in me and actually was my first male keynote speaker for Girlfriends Connected out in Arizona. And it just developed a genuine relationship. So not only is networking is key, networking with intention is key.
Mm.
Be intentional about the networking that you do and not just meeting people, but creating genuine relationships.
It's those subtle things.
Yes.
I didn't even see. Maybe that's why my network isn't so big. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like like we say that, right? You say like if you're gonna follow somebody, Why are you following them? Don't just follow somebody and then just never talk to them. Like, you follow somebody, ask a question,
Right.
comment, send a DM, do something, like, or else why are you following somebody? Unless you just want to watch them, which to me that doesn't make sense. But sometimes some people do things just for entertainment or for casual purposes. Makes sense. But that was great. I'm good. That's one I'm gonna remember right there. Nova, that's a video right there. That's a gem. That's going. That's a short. That's a reel. All right. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that I missed? I feel like be intentional with the people that are around you.
Yes.
You said you had no problem really putting people in position. Um, you gave things time. You whittled things down. So you reflected on each event. You took risks, right? Like, even like in our relationship, you said, well, you calculated the risk, but you said the worst thing that can happen is this, and I'm okay with that for the benefit of what it could be.
Yes.
Now, I'm not encouraging people to just send money across the country to people you don't know. That's
To
not what I'm.
strangers.
Yeah, we also, the friend is mutual. We still have friends, like, we're still, like, shout out to Reagan, like, we still love Ray.
Yes. Love
It's
you,
not, it's,
Reagan.
yeah, Ray's still good, but so, you know, keep it one step removed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just don't send money to random people. Like,
Right.
Instagram didn't exist when we met necessarily. But that being said, Chidell, is there any other points, or if anybody has any questions or comments? Because what happens is I'm doing this early because I'm learning. I say it later, and then Chidell leaves, and then I get 7 questions. Now I got time. Ask your questions now. I'm just letting y'all know. Chidell, is there
While we're
anything else you want to add?
waiting on your questions and your comments to come in, and I'm not sure how much time we have left, and we can do this time and time again, and we can do this for so long because it's so powerful and it's so meaningful. Just with creating, just having a friend. There's friends, there's associates, and that's the other category. But when it comes to networking, I would say networking with other people literally has catapulted me to areas in my life that I never knew or even expected to happen to little old me, this little girl from South Central Los Angeles. And I see questions coming in. I can't read them because of my
I got you. I'll
glasses.
read them out loud. Keep
But,
going. Tell them. Tell them. It's your platform.
but
Tell them about where you've been and where you got invited. Some you can tell them. Tell them. Tell
man,
them who you are.
my life, a little bitty girl from South Central Los Angeles in the hood. I grew up where I had a conversation with someone today about Straight Outta Compton, and they said, "Did that really happen? Was that really like that? Like the movie?" That is one of the most accurate movies I've ever seen in my life. But through the power of networking, when I was at work in the corporate America field, and just with church people and with friends alone, I wound up being introduced to this entrepreneurship type of lifestyle. And when I was introduced to that, like I said, creating Girlfriends Connected, I didn't look at it as a business. I just looked at it as, hey, let's get together, let's inspire, let's encourage each other. But through that, meeting people and people coming in both professionally, some just casually, it allowed me to meet other people that were so powerful that took me to the next level in life. And what I mean by that, I was able to write my first book. And my first book is called Finding the Courage to Say I Am. This was my first solo project. I was in a collaborative project prior to that. But then another project I was in is called Speaking My Truth. There's another one. Booyah. Speaking My Truth is a collaborative effort of women who are sharing true, raw, authentic stories and how they were able to overcome. I will share all this information with you so that you can share with your audience. And then one of the latest books is Prayer Can Change Everything. Let me just get a little bit comfortable. I have so many stories. It is mind boggling. Prior to being in the Speaking My Truth book, I was afforded the opportunity to speak in Paris, France, to a room full of women. It was called A Woman's Narrative. And I was able to share my story across the country. No, not across the country, out of the country, beyond the US. Not in my backyard, but in somebody else's backyard. It took a 14-hour flight to get there. what happened or how that happened is I shared a story of something that happened to me 32 years ago, but that's for another podcast. In a room of 500 people live and streamed in London, Geneva, and China. But somebody saw that and said, I want you to speak in Paris. Somebody saw that and said, I want you to be in the book. Somebody saw that and said, I want you to do this. Networking, the power of opening your mouth and the power of just speaking. Don't be afraid. And even if you are afraid, try it anyway. Because you never know. It could be the person that you needed in your journey, or you could be the person that they need in their journey. And again, I could just go on and on and on and on. Just do it. Be like Nike. Just do it.
You actually answered Alyssa's question. So we put that back up there. She said, what is basically the best approach to networking if you're shy, you're anxious? And you just answered that. You got to get out there. You got to go do it. Got to believe in yourself. If you have anything you want to add to that, feel free. I have my own opinions on how to overcome those things. But is there anything, were you shy? Are you shy? I mean, you're Chidell, but
that's why my name is Chidell.
that's what I'm
I am
saying.
such a shy person. It doesn't seem like it, but trust me, I am one of the most shyest persons that you will ever meet. But if you look at networking from a business perspective, back in the day, it was get inside the event, pass out as many business cards as you can, and hope that they'll call you. The new age networking is digital, and let me give you my social media, or now you can just scan a QR code and everything pops up. But networking is, to me, is beyond that, because I don't want to just give you my information. I want to connect. I want to build the relationship, because building those relationships takes you far beyond, hi, my name is so and so. This is who I am and this is what I do. Networking is, hi, my name is Chidell. This is what I do. How may I help you? I think when you learn to start being in the service of people, then your network grows. And they say your network is your net worth. And you mentioned Hussain about the number of people that you have. But remember, it's not always about the quantity, it's about the quality.
I agree. I agree. So again, there was one other question, and that
Yes,
was basically, what are ways to nurture a relationship? So you meet somebody for the first time. How do you get it from A to B? I think you said that, right? You got to speak up.
speak
You got
up.
to be intentional.
Yes.
So with that, we got the 3 books. All the links or the page or how to get them, all of that is going down. Those will be in the write up for sure.
Yeah.
Chadell, how
Yes.
can people how can people intentionally get to
Connect with
connect with you? How can they reach you outside of the links? How did they get in contact with you, Chadell?
how you can get in contact with me. Be intentional about going on Instagram and following Girlfriends Connected. I say that because I really focus on breeding positive energy as much as I possibly can. I like to give you daily inspiration that will give you the fuel that you need to have the best day that you can possible. So intentionally go to Girlfriends Connected on Instagram. You can also do that on Facebook. And you can also check out my website, which is under construction. It's up now, but there's some amazing updates that are coming. And my website is Chidell, my name Chidell speaks.com.
And there you have it. And we're gonna get that T-shirt because we need that merch. And it's gonna say intentionally.
Intentionally, yes.
Intentionally.
I love it.
All right. Chadell, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you for coming out.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I had a lot of fun speaking to your audience. Thank you for trusting me on your platform. I look forward to more great and exciting things from you and the Busy Money cast. And I can't say enough about how amazing the work is that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We got some things lined up, but I'm gonna throw this out there and put the good energy out there before we leave. We got to do that Girlfriends Connected on the East Coast. So we're gonna
Yes,
speak that into existence. I'll be try to help make sure that I could add to my network so that you can get that done out there. And with
yes.
that, thank you everybody for tuning in to the Busy Money Cast. Thanks to y'all. We had another successful one. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.